Convention, an event that brings together hundreds of medical missionaries from all over Africa and outside the continent for a week packed with powerful messages and lectures about newest interventions in medical missionary lines. That is the spiritual part, hydrotherapy, talk of massages and physiotherapy, talk of herbal formulations, and everything that you need to know about how to reach your neighbor and your friend and yourself. Here we get to learn together and share testimonies of people who have both experienced in their lives and in the lives of others God's special working through natural remedies. You ask me where? We shall be right here where I'm standing in Vizca Resort, Wakiso, just a few kilometers from the capital city, Kampala. A delightful, calm place away from the noise. And the theme is from Isaiah chapter 40, verse 1. Comfort ye my people. And here together, we shall learn how to experience the comfort of the Lord and extend it to our friends and the neighbors. Are you a gospel minister, a pastor, an elder, a deacon? Are you a health professional, a doctor, a nurse, or an allied professional? Are you a layman, but with special interest in reaching people through God's healing methods of medical missionary work? Come, this is an opportunity like no other. For more information, you may scan this QR code right here or WhatsApp this phone number for aid on how to register and be ready for the Medical Missionary Convention 2025. May the Lord bless you. I will be there. See you there.
Be you, even when you are a sperm, you are a first cell. We have cells for almost anything, your eyes, your ears, whatever. You have cells for everything. The first basic component on each part of your body is your cell. Once the cell is diseased, we all have cancer, as we are, right now as we talk, we all have cancer. Right now we have cancer.
Habari Africa.
There's no excuse. Everybody, doesn't matter whether vegetarian or not, you have cancer. The difference is, it's not manifested because your body fights it. If the body does not fight, it's getting manifested. The fact that you are around, you already have cancer, cells in your body. But the body keeps on fighting every time. It keeps on fighting. It's only when the body fails to fight that's when it is manifested. Now, when the first cell gets cancer, the very first one, in a wall like this, there are cells. If the very first cell on the corner, if it gets cancer, the body itself, the body, it is its soldiers going to kill that cell. That's how we are protected from having cancer spread in our body. It's going to kill it. Here's what happens. The cells around that bad cell, are you following? The cells which are around that bad cell, they team up and say, gentlemen, we have an enemy here. This friend of ours has cancer now. Let's kill him. It is called apoptosis. Apoptosis. It's spelled A-P-P. It's spelled A-P-O-P. Yeah. You might mistake by saying apoptosis, but it's spelled up. It's pronounced apoptosis. The other P is silent. It's apoptosis. That's where we get our church name, apostasy. When somebody apostatized, we church, you sit down and say, let's get rid of this guy. So the same principle works when there's cancer. If it is only one or so, the body creates what is called apoptosis, where the word apostasy comes. If you apostatize, they kill you. Now, if it gets out of hand, and it's now spreading. It's called necrosis. It goes on and on and on and on. Now, if you read the book, Mind, Character, and Personality, who has the book, Mind, Character? Not on cell phone, I mean the hard book. Yeah. Volume 1, it says all diseases start with the brain. All diseases, they start with the brain. Remember yesterday we were talking about cholesterol. It says your brain is the cholesterol. If the cholesterol does not develop from the first time you become pregnant, the baby inside might grow a little bit, then all of a sudden it dies because maybe of statins, drugs. The brain is the first part to develop, the first one, because it's the one which gives energy to whatever to the body, so that it can start growing. You end up, after time, you end up the baby having a tail, and then all of a sudden some legs, etc. But initially it's the head. When you use birth control pills, you're actually killing the baby. I follow what I'm saying? When you use birth control pills, yeah, for family planning, you're actually killing the baby. I follow what I'm saying? So that the baby does not grow. When you do that, you don't escape also as a mother, because it also kills the cells in your ovaries. Either you end up having fibroids or a cancer of the ovary. So a lot of things happen because of the drugs you take. Very, very dangerous. If you take birth control pills, here's what happens. Have you noticed that sometimes a baby is born dead? Are you following what I'm saying? The baby is actually born but is dead. Sometimes when the baby is born, he comes out like this. If you notice something like that, it's because the pills have destroyed the brain but did not destroy the baby completely. But he grew up and managed to come out of the mother's womb, but is now deformed. So a lot of babies who are deformed, I don't blame you as family, people who are married. I don't blame you for trying anything, especially maybe you already have children and now you don't want to have them, but you can't stop having sex because you're married. There's nothing wrong with that. But unfortunately, sometimes the methods which are used, they end up creating a problem unknowingly. Then when that happens, the baby is born with a lot of, I can't remember the term they use, when a baby is old, but it's almost like, it just goes like that. It's because the brain has been affected with the drugs which the mother used. And as a result, you have a problem. A baby is born and the baby is prematurely given birth because the baby is already dead. Fine, sometimes you are pregnant, why is it I'm not growing more? What you might not know is, let me give you a wrong good advice, a good wrong advice, a wrong good advice. I don't know how I can explain it. You see what I'm saying? If you happen to use pills, I'm saying this because maybe you're using them right now. If you decide to have a baby, you need to have a detox first. Make sure that you are cleaning. Tell your husband, honey, if we're going to have a sex, let's wait at least just a month, let me clean myself. Because at the end, you are going to regret giving birth a deformed baby. And you are going to have a hard time all your life. There's nothing wrong with a baby, but now it's almost a burden. Just go 1 month, have a detox, clean yourself, then you can have it. Because some residue of drugs, when they don't get cleaned quickly, then you think, I stopped using pills last month. Let's have sex now. All of a sudden, the residue in your body is still lingering, then it attacks the baby. I follow what I'm saying? Then that becomes a problem. Now, the other part, we, as human beings, we have brain, which is left and right hemispheres. A man uses the left hemisphere because it deals with the calculation, planning, etc. Are you following what I'm saying? Whenever a wife says, honey, I need you to go and fix my stove, it's not working. And the husband says, I hear you, I'm going to fix it. After about 3 or 4 hours, he's still outside. But I told you to fix my stove. What's wrong with you? You get angry. Then he says something. I said I'm going to fix it. What is happening is the husband, all men, even me, we use the left side of the hemisphere. I follow what I'm saying? Now, when the left side is only for calculating, planning, etc., the problem comes because women, they use both sides. A man uses one side. That's why, my brother, you'll never win an argument with your wife. Never. Because verbal gadgets, they are on both sides. A man, you only have one verbal gadget on the left side. A woman has both verbal gadgets on both sides. So it doesn't matter how much you argue. That's why at the end, a man keeps quiet when you are arguing. Why is it and you're quiet now? No, the side is tired of arguing. It's only one mouth arguing against two mouths. I will not say. They don't keep quiet deliberately. They can't match the speed. They can't match the speed. Now, so I want you to understand why sometimes husband and wife, you find even your communication discussion becomes a problem. You follow what I'm saying? I'm telling you so that you understand some of the problems which happens with the brain, which also might end up letting go cancer start. Now, there is when you are eating food, this is where the problem starts. The body has what is called citric acid. Citric acid. Okay, I'll remember the name. It has 10 sections in your body, 10. When you eat your food, what it does is, it's digested and then metabolism starts. Before the body absorbs the metabolized food, it takes the food you have eaten, citric acid cycle. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. That cycle is 10 sections. Before the food is absorbed, the food itself determines which station is supposed to be absorbing this food. Are you following what I'm saying? Listen very carefully. That's where the problem starts. When it gets station number 1, either it's a mango or papaya or orange or ugali or vegetables, they have their sections where they are supposed to be absorbed. Are you following what I'm saying? So when it gets to its station, ugali comes to station number 1. Let's just assume we don't know what is inside. When it comes, it should bring food, either mineral, vitamins, etc. When it comes to its station, it should deposit the minerals, the nutrition content we are talking about. When you eat food, you eat for nutrients. How is it? Not junk food. So when you eat, it should come and deposit. Once it is deposited, it has to come out and then go to the big intestines as poop. That's how we feed ourselves. Each food which comes has to go to its station and deposit. If we eat something else, it has to its own station. Just what we do when you get into a train. You drop out at your station. You don't drop anywhere else. Same principle. When it does that, it makes you healthy because it's giving you nutrients. Are you following? Now, when that happens, when you eat food is just like that continuously, that's the process. The problem comes when you start eating junk food, white bread, white sugar, whatever. When it gets to its sugar station, it has nothing because it's bleached now. There's no food. What the body does, it sits around with its own cabinet at the session. Gentlemen, there is a friend who came, he didn't bring anything. What should we do now with this guy? There's nothing we can do. Let's make him go forward. But he can't go forward because he didn't bring any wheels. The food he brings is also part of propelling. What should we do now? The best we can do now, let's donate him wheels. Are you following? The food then, the body then takes food from the body to stick to that bad food so that it can slide out and comes out as poop. I want you to listen. That happens whenever you eat any junk food, which doesn't bring anything. That junk food withdraws the food content from your body out. It goes on and on and on when you go to eat chicken, Fantas, Coca-Cola with aspartame, the food which tastes nice but is not nutritious. Are you following? You're actually building cancer as you go on. That's what I'm putting across. When you do that, the time comes when your body is going to be empty because you've been eating junk food. Are you following what I'm saying? The nutritious food which you've been eating, it has been protecting you from high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, whatever. Remember, I told you all have cancer, but it's not manifested because the body is fighting. What is fighting is that food which is being deposited. Are you following? Now, when at the end you have nothing because you live on junk food, easy to cook, easy to fry, whatever. But you are actually withdrawing the food which has been deposited for your health purposes. That's why as medical missionary, we change lifestyle. What you are doing, you are depositing. Remember, I told you the other day, diseases only come either toxicity or starvation. That is the starvation part of it. When you are actually withdrawing your body until it starves. Now you keep on eating. This time the food, white meal comes. You eat, and it didn't bring anything. It gets to the station, now the station is empty. You know what happens? Then that's when you become constipated. Because there's no one who's donating for you to move forward. 2 weeks, nobody's pooping. I am sick, I haven't been pooping for 2 weeks. Ask the kind of food he's eating. The guy is eating junk. As long as you are getting constipated, you have a problem of withdrawing, not depositing. So it goes on and on. That's when you start having diabetes, start having cancer, you start having anything. Because whatever you eat to protect yourself from that is why when I was in the States, COVID came, it did nothing. Because I stopped eating junk food in 1991. That's when I stopped eating meat and everything else. So by the time I went to the States, my body was already filled with good food. COVID came, nothing happened. That's why I told you that I don't get sick. It might happen, but as for now, for the past 20-something years, I've never been sick. Nothing. Because I was aware of the causes. I act on knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Some of you are sick out of ignorance. It's not your problem. You don't know. But I was aware because remember I told you I used to inspect factories. That gave me picture of the dangers. Now, so when that happens, you start getting constipated. You go for 1 week, no poop. All you do, go to the hospital, they give you medication. You eat again, constipated. Eat some drugs. You live on pumping. That's all you live on. That's all. Now, when you're in a situation like that, the problem comes. Do you know the oils we use? The oils we use, cooking oils. The majority of them, almost 99%, they're hydrogenated. There's hydrogen in it. The reason, I worked in the industry, that's what I'm saying. I was very blessed. I worked in the industry myself. I used to inspect factories, food factories almost. So that's when I learned a lot. When oils, when they are hydrogenated, the purpose of putting hydrogen is so that they don't go rancid. They live long on the shelf. They don't go bad. A bottle of cooking oil can live 10 years on the shelf, no problem. Here comes the problem. You go home and cook and eat, you start getting big and big and big. You can't lose weight because hydrogenation makes it stick to your cells. The hydrogen actually sticks to your cells and it does not die. It becomes tough in your cells. And you are getting fatter and fatter. I even try to fast, nothing is happening. I try to do this, nothing happening. It's because of the hydrogenation. You follow what I'm saying? When that happens, you are now in trouble. Worse, you used cooking oil which is hydrogenated. The worst part, you fried. You cooked your cooking oil. Cooking oil at home, we don't cook cooking oil. Nothing happens. It tastes very nice. The moment you cook your cooking oil, you are raising temperature to over 80%. Once you raise your temperature, the liver cannot metabolize it. That's why you end up having liver cirrhosis, enlargement of the liver. It doesn't work. Once the liver is damaged, your liver is the only part of the body, the only one, which, mommy, if I get a knife and cut your liver and throw the other piece away, it will regrow. That's the only part. So just a few minutes because we don't have time. I have somebody to present. Okay, go ahead.
Is it true that coconut oil can be hot?
Okay, we'll go there. We'll go there. Okay. Now, in England, there is what is called rancid's. Seeds is rancid's. It's a plant, rancids. Rancids, they used to feed sheep because they used to sheep for sharing. You mean so that they can make wool? Now, they did it for years and years, but what they noticed that the sheep were dying. But they discovered because they were feeding them rancids. Somehow the devil was very smart, very smart. The Canadians realized that. They said, we need the rancid here. So all the rancid is shipped to Canada. Canadians said we are going to make cooking oil. That is why you have canola. So, look, Mama. Canola. C-A-N is Canada. O, oil. L, low. A, acid. So it's Canadian oil with low acid. That's why canola. What they did, they reduced the acidity so that they can make cooking oil. That is why everybody, please switch off your cell phone, please. When you are presenting, it doesn't have to come out on the TV. Switch off your cell phone, no problem. Put it on vibration. Now, when you have that problem, then it becomes a problem. Because you know, almost everywhere, they sell canola. Everywhere. It doesn't matter whether it is chips from packet, the ones which they put, they mix with the canola. But on the bottle, they say olive oil. Below ingredients, you find they say it's canola. What you don't know is they put more canola and a little bit of olive oil because they know people love olive oil. What makes you understand that it's cheap is the price. Olive oil is expensive. You find olive oil, $5. Why is it so cheap? Look at the ingredients. So they sell the name. So because of that, you end up having a lot of problems. Like I said, it's the toxins which kill and the starvation which kills, and then end up having a lot of other diseases. Cancer is one of the most prevalent. I told you how the body end up having to destroy the other cell. Otherwise, when you take that oil, the hydrogenated one, the first cell which consumes hydrogenated oil, are there any of you, most of you guys, you are young. I grew up when we used to play LPs, records. There's LPs. Now you know of CDs. I grew up at a time when there were LPs, long play. They used to be very. You could put on a gramophone and then you go. What is it? Okay, good. Here's my point. If you forget that LP on the sun, it gets warped. Are you following? You put a needle to play, it will say, it's discord. Yeah, same principle. When your cell is full of oil, which is hydrogenated, and even hormones, it doesn't operate well in protecting you from cancer. When cancer diseases come, instead of fighting it, going, it cannot, it doesn't even know. It's like it's a drunkard, somebody. The reason why you have cancer is because your cells are now affected, all of them, because of the food you are eating. Once your cells are not in good shape, any disease can attack you, any disease. It doesn't matter which one. The only thing we have no excuse is a car accident, you have nothing to do with the outside forces. But when it comes to any other disease, everything comes through your mouth. Whatever you eat causes you to have high blood pressure. Whatever you eat causes you to have diabetes. Whatever it causes cancer. Cancer is not a disease as such. It's a lifestyle which has been destroyed. Anyway, we don't have much time. Let me give my brother to go with the next section. Yeah, it's true. Coconut oil, you can cook it with it. It doesn't change much. Yeah, of course, you can't take advantage. Just keep on boiling and boiling. But it can stand a lot of heat. It can stand. Yeah, coconut oil is very good, but not olive oil. Yeah, coconut oil is good. Those are the oils you can use. Olive oil and coconut oil. Or even avocado oil, yeah. They are very good also. But some of them, they have a problem when it comes to temperature. Coconut oil is the only one which has been proved that it can stand heat. Anything else, the best you can do, don't cook your vegetables with cooking oil inside. Cook your vegetables. When things they are right, take them off the stove and then put oil. Yeah, no, it's not tasteless. It's tasteless.
Yes, thank you, Dr. MASARIRA. I'm going to enter into the part 2 because he highlighted mainly the cause. And I will highlight a little bit more on that so that I go a little bit deeper, because most of the people, they do. I don't know whether I'll be able to see what causes cancer in part 2. In fact, I usually say there are about 2 systematic levels in which a cancer is caused: the systematic level and at the cellular level. Systematic level and where? And as well at a cellular level. I don't know where I want to see that. Now, when we do the systematic level, everyone, of course, he mentioned that we do have a cancer cells in our body, so that when a person is never diagnosed with a cancer and another is diagnosed with cancer, and you wonder why. Another one is diagnosed, another why. But all of us, we have cancer cells. How come? Cancer is almost always caused by some multiple step sequence of an event. Okay, there are a number of subsequences now. Right? The first one is nasty microbes and parasites that get inside an organ and makes their homes there. And when we look at these microbes, generally it comes from foods, meat, especially even the meat that is even not cooked, it is even worse. We have even more microbes that even cause that. You know, the others, they do come from even different causes. And these microbes, they intercept. The second thing level, it is that this microscope, they have ability to intercept glucose, which has headed for a cell in an organ. How will they do that? Now, number 3, let me go to number 3, another part. The third, it is these microbes now, they excrete a waste product called mycotoxins, which are highly acidic and totally worthless to the cell. These microbes. And therefore, because these cells that are in an organ don't get food they need, because it has been intercepted, then what happens? The mitochondria finally will do what? Will live in a sea of these mycotoxins. And as a result, they make your organ to be very, very weak. Now, these organs are made exclusively of cells. Okay? In other words, if you took all of the cells out of an organ, there will be no organ at all. That's because cells in an organs are weak. The organs, therefore, are weak. Because the organs are made out of what? Out of cells. Are we together? Now, the sixth is because one or more major organs are weak. The immune system now becomes weak. Because actually the microbes as well, they're what? They weaken the immune system. The immune system is work, it is to desire to do what? To destroy some of these microbes. And because 1 or 6 major organs is weak, is weak, immune system becomes weak, and actually the microbes are weakened. Because the immune system, therefore, is weak, cannot kill enough of the cancer cells, and the cancer cells do grow out of control. Okay. Now, what are the causes of the cancer in short? That's in summary, the root cause of cancer is what? microbes and parasites that are in an organ or in your colon or in your bloodstream. Are you there? In your cell or in what? Microbes or organs that are what? They are in an organ, in the colon, or in your bloodstream. And therefore, it means as a result, you have to consider these three aspects about these microbes. Okay, now, other things that can cause cancer is like vaccination, can weaken the immune system due to a mercury or other toxins. Fields in the colon also lead to what? To your weak immune system. I'm trying to summarize to go quicker because we don't have time. Cancer patients who have microbes in their organs also have microbes in their bloodstream, which cause the other will vary by cancer patients. But microbes which originate in an organ will spread the microbes to the bloodstream and vice versa. Therefore, exactly how much the microbes in the organ weakens the immune system versus how much the microbes in your bloodstream weakens the immune system varied by case. But parasites will likely be found in that organ. Therefore, there are three major ways that we can consider safely. When we can try to cure or target to cure the cancer. Number one, you safely target and kill the cancer cells. Number two, you kill the microbes inside the cancer cells. And the cancer cells will revert to normal cells. Now the question is, how do we do that? Right? How are we going to do that? Three major ways. Now, the third way, it is what? Kill microbes that are causing the immune system to be weak. Are we there? And this includes the microbes in an organ and microbes in the bloodstream. And necessary and control the microbes that will be in your colon, because remember, I talked about the three things. We're talking about the colon, the bloodstream, and the organs, and inside the cell as well. Am I with you? While many natural cancer treatments do very well against cancer, we would like to acknowledge that. What is missing in this many natural cancer treatment, it is the protocol in getting rid of the microbes in an organ, which is the root cause of most of cancer cells. May I say as a result, because we do have number of microbes. Are we together? The bacteria. And each one of them, they do target a certain organs in the system. The microbes that will cause the breast cancer is not the same microbes that is going to what? To cause your what? Your prostate cancer. And neither as well with your colon cancer. And the one that will flock in to your pancreas to cause the pancreatic cancer, it will be different from the liver cells or that goes to the brain. We have thousands of microbes. And each one of them, they do target to desire to where to go. However, may I say in the very same breath that you realize that in all of these microbes, they can be combated by various herbs that you can consider even later. Now, in many cases, the immune system can get rid of these microbes. But, in fact, some tapeworms, flukes and fungus and etc. cannot be killed by immune system for one reason or the other. Tamfanga. The microbes are not accessible by the immune system. That's getting very interesting. Are we there? Therefore, the liver flushes and special nutrients may be required to deal with these microbes and parasites. And as a result, but the fact is that many natural cancer treatments do very well without dealing with these special microbes. But the patient should be aware of these issues. And therefore, by getting rid of these microbes in the organ, plus doing the normal cancer treatment, the balance is restored enough to keep the cancer from becoming weak. And then the patient is cured because the immune system has been fixed, and the number of cancer cells, by using special protocols, has been reduced. The cancer will not come back as long as the patients watch their diet and watch their lifestyle. Okay, now the orthodox medicine, of course, through chemotherapy, radiation, and the surgery. And as well, and orthodox cancer treatment also kill many healthy cells and can damage organ and lymph system, etc. It is any wonder that cancer always seems to come back after surgery or chemotherapy. This is what we call regression. And because sometimes we are not cleaning, we have ignored the microbes in the stomach that colonize the stomach, like H. pylori. You have ignored how it colonizes the stomach and it escapes, going to the bloodstream, finally end up in your organ, in the cells in your organ, and that causes other problems. Then there are a number of things that you need to look into while addressing that. And alternative cancer, when administered correctly, have a massively higher cure rate than orthodox medicine. Most natural cancer treatment include immune builders and things that kills cancer cells. Some protocols also include things to clean the blood of microbes, which will also supercharge your immune system. Now, a different treatment, MSS treatment, methyl methane, there are a number of them, DOMS, that we can look into. There are a number of natural cancer theory that many have developed. Some say this have worked, others say worse work, and this, and I'm going to use this and this. But failure to understand that most of them, they will target dealing, for an example, with some of the microbes that are in the bloodstream, but failure to control and consider what a person is eating, and not even cleaning enough the microbes or the cancer cells that are in the system. And it becomes a very problematic. Now, what causes cells in an individual? They become cancer cells. Many cancer from prior cancer cells dividing and creating two cancer cells. But how does a normal cell, which is not cancerous, become cancerous? In a normal cell's molecule called adenosine triphosphate, it provides an energy of the cell. Now, that ATP molecule are created inside your mitochondrion, which is inside and every of your cell. And in fact, there are thousands of these mitochondria inside your cells. There are thousands of them. And when you look into this matter, the very definition of cancer cell, it is low adenosine triphosphate energy. Oh, wait a minute. Huh? Seriously? What do we mean? Let's try to go furthermore. The normal process of creating adenosine triphosphate molecule. What is ATP biology? As I said, you realize that it is your energy that is created in your body. A glucose get inside of your cells from your bloodstream, right? You eat your food, get digested, go inside your bloodstream, go from your bloodstream to go inside to what? Into as a cell. Now, your cell, for the food to go in here, obviously you know that there are receptors. The insulin will take that food or glucose to put inside the cell, and inside the cell it goes to mitochondria, and inside the mitochondria it will have to create energy. Are we together? Yeah. And some of this is converted into what? A pyruvate step. Now, when we look into the pyruvate steps, or you see, this is about 10 steps of this pyruvate to take place. Now look into this. The pyruvate gets inside of what? Inside of your mitochondria. Once inside of your mitochondria, the pyruvate is at the beginning of two sequential chemical reaction, which is a Krebs cycle, and as well as electron transport chain, which spins off about halfway throughout the citric acid cycle. It is these two cycles which create most of your adenosine triphosphate molecule in your cell. These two. Now, as a result, you realize that cancer cells consumes about 15 times more glucose than normal cells. Thus, a person will logically expect a cancer cells to do what? To create at least 15 times more ATP, right? Molecules than normal cells. See, if it eats 15 times, then we expect to do what? To create more, even more than that. But unfortunately, but in reality, cancer cells create a very small amount of that energy molecule. Cancer cells are what? Are ATP molecules starved, and they have to revert to fermentation to create what little ATP molecules, to have to revert rather to fermentation to create what this ATP molecule they have created. It means it will go back at the same time trying to do what? Oh, yeah, I will have to go with a speed. I have only 10 minutes left. Okay, am I still with you? Let me move with such a speed now. With so much glucose, there should be what? An abundance of what? Of this adenosine triphosphate molecule. But however, why do cancer cells consume 15 times more glucose and yet not be able to create a significant amount of this ATP molecule? You realize a very special pleomorphic bacteria. They block the production of the ATP molecules. They block it. And as a result, the Independent Cancer Research Foundation and other believes that the microbes called it Helicobacter pylori or H. pylori in some cases of Fusobacterium may be involved, as well as it is also known to get inside the cells. While everyone has the H. pylori bacteria in our bodies, we generally in the digestive tract. Now, how does this pylori get inside your healthy cells? Generally, it doesn't. But in some cases, an acidic diet can make this bacteria highly aggressive. And it can literally drill itself inside the normal cells to get away from the acidic in the blood, as it is discovered by Dr. Robert Oya. Now, so how does that bacteria block the production of these ATP molecules and thus turn a cell cancerous after it has gotten inside the cell? How does it do that? In 2004, the Independent Cancer Research Foundation developed the model which still stands today. And what is that model? The bacteria blocks the ATP production in two different ways. And first, the bacteria eat the glucose so as the bacteria proliferate inside the cell. But we know that this bacteria is roughly the same size of the mitochondria. They intercept more and more glucose. This means less of pyruvate is made because there is a less glucose to be converted into pyruvate. This means that the less ATP molecule is made in the system. And secondly, the microbes excrete mitochondria, which are highly acidic and totally worthless molecules. And then this is what about Independent of Cancer Research Foundation research is put it this way, that the mitochondria inside is like a swimming in a sea of pyruvic. It's like the pyruvate are swimming in the sea of mycotoxins. Both items contribute to the mitochondria not obtaining enough pyruvate, and this hinders both citric cycle and electron transport chain, and thus block the production of the adequate amount of what? Of the ATP molecules in their mitochondria. And this microbes, therefore, is a highly phlegmatic, meaning it has many different sizes and shapes. These microbes can literally be smaller than a virus. And as a result, many people think that it is a virus or a fungal that causes the cancer, but it is actually a cell wall deficient, highly pleomorphic bacteria. Okay. Come again. Who? Which? Definitely, yes. I'm just summarizing. That's why I'm rushing. But he did summarize that. Okay. The inside, yeah. No, my time is not on my side. All right. Where did I go now? Now. Okay. Now, there is one book of this called The Persecution of a Trial of Gaston Nasser, and I described the 16 phases of cancer microbes. It's quite a very interesting book, but this man discovers something as you go through those 16 steps. Then I realized that through your protocol, you can revert back to those 16 steps of how a cancer cells came to be. And you can even reverse forward for it to be normal. In one of the smallest stage, it is the size, he said, it's the size of virus, can enter inside a cell's nucleus, like virus, which gets inside of the nucleus. The DNA of the cancer microbes can interact with the DNA inside the cell nucleus and change the DNA structure of the cells. Are we together? And what, therefore, let me quickly summarize that. That's the summary root cause of the cancer in microbes and parasites. That's in organ, colon, bloodstream, which weakens what? Weakens the cells. The test terms of pyruvates, they come. And if you look at those two, they divide as steps number 4 of the pyruvate. When it branches all over, you realize that now. The ATP is supposed to be creating more energy, but it is less. Now, that's why most of the time you realize that the cancer patients, they are always weaker and weaker. But even when they eat, what happens? Okay? Let me rush once on forward. There is one thing. Now, in 1890, the pathologist William Russell in 1852 first reported that cancer parasite and cancer tissue that was especially, stained with a cobalt function, a red dye. Dr. Russell in the 1980s reported that the cancer microbes were pleomorphic, the different sizes. Then the cancer microbes were reported to excrete enzymes that coat. Now, listen to this. The cancer microbes was reported to excrete enzymes that coat the outside of the cancer cells. This coating of enzymes is theorized to block the immune system from identifying the cancer cells as being cancer cells. Okay, now, it was also reported in that 1915 article that the natural pancreatic enzyme made in the pancreas could dissolve this protein coating so that the immune system could identify and thus kill the cancer cells. But now what is happening? Listen to this. This very discovery in turn led to advise that natural cancer treatment should prohibit the cancer patient from eating meat, dairy, and refined sugar or other foods. These dairy products and all that, what do they eat? They are utilized by this enzyme that is produced by the pancreas. And at last, when the cancer cell comes, there is nothing to decode or to code or to uncode those cancer cells for the immune system to destroy the cancer cells. Therefore, in another ways, when you look at all this meat and all that, because the pancreatic enzyme that has been produced, all of it has been utilized by this meat, dairy, and refined sugars. There is nothing left. Therefore, there is nothing to help the immune system to identify the cancer cells within the system. And in other words, yes. Now, Dr. Matthias Roth emphasized that these microbes excrete enzymes that cut the path along with tissue cancer cells and spread more easily along the tissue. Now, in 1930, Dr. Ryan Raphael, microbiologist, developed an anti-cancer treatment using a gentle electromedicine, which had two frequencies. One frequency was reported to kill the cancer bacteria, and second frequency was the carrier frequency, which got other frequencies through the cell's membrane. And actually through the entire body to get inside the cancer cells to kill these microbes. And this medicine protocol, such as Raphael developed, a several cancer treatment, what he developed, it is that it was natural cancers that are developed, but nevertheless, I may not dwell too much on that one. I just want to go to other alternatives that can assist in treating the cancer. May I put it this way, because I'm going to take time if I go through the slide. Let me summarize it this way. Now, in the treatment of cancer, what necessary you need to do, it is that you have to start glucose. The more glucose you have, the more the cancer cell they eat. Are we together? They eat. And when they eat, because they consume 15 times of glucose, the more they enjoy that. But there is no energy because they're going to consume that. And the microbes that are inside, they thrive in that. Now, more, because of the power of it, and more acid is going to be produced. And the more acid it is produced, in the system, that is why cancer patients, they are always acidic no matter what. What we need to do, you need to deal with the microbes that are inside the cell because they prevent the ATP to be produced by the body for the body to get the energy. But instead, it feeds the cancer cells. And when that it is because you don't have enough of the glucose, it will turn that acid again. It will eat. The cancer cells will start now turning to try to eat out of those acid that it has more produced. And the more the microbes they multiply for other cancer to be deformed and form more cancer cells in the system. Then the best way it is to do what? The best way it is you starve the cancer cells. And how do you starve the cancer cells? You can lead the body to a condition of what? Fasting has discovered that it helps a lot. Because when you fast, the more you fast, the period, especially fasting to about 18 hours, the body will reach an autophagy state. In that autophagy state, now because there is no more glucose to use, the cells, the ketones will be produced. And those ketones in the system, the brain will have to continue to using them as their energy. But during that little period, what do? During that little period, you manage to do what? To introduce during the fasting, and this is the method I've said. During that period, as if they're fasting, you bring herbs that definitely will target. And one of the herbs, for them to be carried in, to enter into the cell, you use a what? Turmeric as a Trojan horse. Therefore, always the herbs, I mix them with what? With turmeric. It becomes a Trojan horse to go inside, take all this other water to go and what? And destabilize and kill the microbes within the cell. That's number one. Number two, in the process, you administer your hydrotherapy. A person sweat, and during the time the person sweat, you continuously as well drink the herbs. And those herbs, they not only go to the cells, they will deal with other type of microbes that are in the bloodstream to try to reduce them. And remember now, you are neutralizing, you are giving the person the herbs, more after that, more of what? Lemon water, because it's more an alkaline to neutralize the continual production of the acid that the body produces because of the cancer cells in the system. The third thing that you need to do, which is the first thing that I start with, I deal with the colon. The H. pylori, once you eat, we have about 39 trillion bacteria. My time is expired. Yes, doctor. Right. Now, when we look into that, I wish I will have time to go that. Can I steal 2 minutes? 5 minutes. Thank you. Thank you for your grace. I'm under grace period right now. When you look into this, the ultraviolet has been searched that when you use certain... where to start this? No, let me close this. Most of the time what I use is a constipation. I will take people through, I will use colon hydrotherapy. Why I use colon hydrotherapy, and there is what I will use simply what will deal with the parasite. 2 weeks we were treating someone a week ago. When we look at what was coming from the colon, there were parasite, worms, going out of his colon. Literally going out. And I've done that even many times. And we look at this one, many people, they are not even aware. We used about 40 liters of water. The first thing, we use our herb, a parasitic herb to go first. Inside the colon. Flush that. And from there, the next thing we use all the 40 liters of water. Just continuously flush. You could see it changes all the 3 times, the color change, until we make sure that we reduce, we take out to almost to the liver. We take that out. Now, the reason it is that we are controlling to desire because we are aware of what the bacteria in the stomach that has been there, petrified, and all those things have been there. Constipated, 2 weeks, sometimes you don't even go to the bathroom. What do you think it is there? And from there you drink some of the herbs that will do to help to detoxify the liver. Are we together? And from there, that's what you'll do. Now, once you deal with what is here, and from there, of course, you will introduce the probiotics that a person will have to take. And after probiotics, now you are settled down. Now, from the stomach, you go to the bloodstream. Now, it's a 3-day detox before you enter into the regimen of our treatment for cancer. The first treatment, 3 day, and in that 3-day detox program, it is through fasting. And while you are fasting, of course, we'll check, continuous check of your ketones, continuous checks of your blood sugar level, continuous check of all the vital signs. Every 2 hours, monitoring you right throughout. And that's the protocol that you'll follow because there are many things that you're looking into. But after that, when you go into, from the bloodstream, then you go to 3 days, fasting the first 2 days, the third day, you break the fasting with only juice. You introduce nothing, you don't introduce anything that is sugar. I don't do that. You always introduce something like made in nuts, that you will introduce avocado, and then some greens. No sugar. That I will introduce during that period. And from there are now protocol that you are going to follow of the other foods that you will have to go. You know, it is a lot. But the herbs that you use, different. The microbe in the stomach, H. pylori to control, they're different. What is in the bloodstream is different what you need to control. And what is in the cellular level, it is what is different, where the problem is in an organ. And during that time, you know that today you use this type of herbs, the next thing you use this type of herbs, and the next thing you use this type of herbs. So that you follow every different target, different types of those bacteria or microbes based on the types of herbs you are giving to individual. Even though the herbs, there are those that are general. But generally, all the herbs that you use, the bitter herbs, the better. Use all the bitter herbs, the better. They will deal with all those most of the microbes. And as you go along, then you will introduce food therapy after three days of your detox. When you follow that, you realize that you can manage to see how you can bring a healing to an individual. Now, this is not a protocol for you to follow. It is an example, because different patients, they have different protocols. Breast cancer is its own different protocols. Colon cancer is on different protocols and different methods and all that. Therefore, it is by the guidance of the Spirit of God scientifically what you need to do to an individual. Are you getting there? Yeah, because the same protocol I use for prostate cancer, it's not the same protocol I will use for a person with a breast cancer. It's not the same protocols I will use for someone with leukemia. It's different. And therefore, God calls us to be wise, as we need to increase our knowledge and understanding. But there are basic things that comes to cancer. What are the basics? Get rid of acidic food, balance the food, follow the lifestyle, follow the right lifestyle that an individual needs to follow. All the toxins out of the system, detox the body, and finally, you will see God doing wonders. I've summarized. Let me just come to an end right there. May God bless you.
What do we say? Okay, I'm just, because of the abundance of that case, I'm just going to give 3 hands. So if you have a question or a contribution, only 3. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, you put up the hands. I pick. So I'm seeing the first hand, the second hand, the last one. Okay, there are 2.
Me is just a comment. These things that you are explaining and sweating, going deeper for us to understand. This is why God says, simply follow my laws, they will be preventive in nature. So when we go by what God has given us, by faith and practice, we will avoid to understand the scientific part of which God was trying to avoid to us. So that's a comment. Thank you, my brother.
Amen.
I've heard of one who had a tumor in the brain caused by parasites. How can they be eliminated from the brain?
Any guidance on that? Tumor in the brain, how can we deal with it?
How do you deal with the tumor in the brain? The parasites in the brain. There are many methods. Different practitioners have used different methods, depending on their understanding. Others, they will use what parasite to withdraw them from the brain, how they travel from the system down. There are many who uses that. But I will use, my way, I use a different fasting method. And then other people, they use different fasting different methods, how they can do that. Others, they will use, let's say, the sugar. There are different methods. It's hard to really say, this is what you can do, because there are different methods. Others will use the parasite, worms. There are different ways in which, to me, what my method that I use, it is quite a little bit more different in what I will give you to drink, what you will go through, and as well as, because there are a number of things that I need to consider during that period. And maybe someone will have different brain. Though I've never had any person having a brain tumor that I've treated. Yeah, and maybe someone who have treated brain tumor will do. I saw my elder there has one, and my sister.
Particularly, he has talked about parasitic tumors. Parasitic tumor simply means it's a tumor which has parasites inside. That's a cyst Parasites, sometimes they formulate a cyst, a house for them to stay in there. Number one, what you do the protocol treatment. The protocol treatment, I think it was already showed here. We've done that many times, and we've found success. What you do with the protocol treatment is you starve the parasites. The parasites, they eat in the stomach in the night. After 9 o'clock in the night, they descend. They come out of that cocoon, they come out of that cyst, and they eat in the stomach. What happens is the worms, particularly the worms, they like it when they like eating when you're silent, when you're laying down. Most of you know this disease for little kids, that little children may be, in my country they say that the worms have followed the child, meaning the worms may want to come down. They usually follow the child and they come down, and you see the child stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch, and then finally heartbreak. Okay? I don't know if you people know that, but it's common. It's common where children play around and where children have plenty of worms. Okay? Because the worms stay in the brain. That's confirmed. That the worms, most of them, they stay in the brain and they eat in the stomach. If you find the worms that stay in the stomach, it simply means you're overloaded with the worms. But if you just have common worms, they will stay in the brain. Because the brain is spongy. So they like it there. When you're active, when you're walking, when you're running, they like staying in the brain. But during the night, they come down and they eat. So the first thing you do is 2 cloves of garlic and 1 onion, blend in a glass of water, drink it before you go to sleep. So that when they come down, they go down to the garlic and onion pub. They will never go back up because they suffocate in the garlic and onion. They will not go back up. Okay? And once they suffocate in there, when it comes to the morning, you drink charcoal, and charcoal will bind them up and remove them. That's the first case. That's one way of removing worms. I'm still just talking about worms. Okay? So if you do that for 3 days, you'll have drained most of the worms that you have in the stomach and the brain. Number 2, do hydro of the head. Hydrotherapy of the head. Hydrotherapy of the head. This is how you do it. Take hot water. In a normal case, the head you do cold water. That's a normal case when you're doing hydro. But in this case, this particular case, you take hot water, as hot as somebody can tolerate, and you pour on the head as you massage the head. And your massage should be scratchy massage. Wash the head with any detergent that you have, that you wash yourself with, and scratch the head. You do that hydro for about 15 minutes. When doing that, you activate the worms to move and go. 2, you break the cyst. Okay? If you do that for 3 days, you'll begin to see if the cyst was there, and protocol. The cyst will begin to disintegrate. If you're consistent for 21 days, At the end of the 21 days, there'll be a healing crisis. And the healing crisis would be disintegrating the cyst to remove it. You'll cough, it will come through your nose, it will come through your ears, may come through your eyes. There was, for Ugandans, you may know Mrs. Malay. There's a time she had a case like that, and I was in the US, and she called me. This person had a tumor that had not, even the hospital had rejected. I don't know if you remember that. There's a person whom even the hospitals had rejected. So she mentioned it to me, and I told her what to do. Finally, the tumor disintegrated, and the cyst came out through the nose and through the cough. No. This is Mrs. Mama Lillian's. Mama Lillian. Yes. And what happened, it went out so well that she went and she was working with this patient continually, and then when the cyst came out, she called me so many times. I had a line of patients like this I was working on in the US, so I couldn't pick her call. I said, no, because in the US, those who've been in the US, you know, when you're dealing with a patient, you don't pick another call. You may even be sued for that. When you're dealing with one person, you have to finish. And when somebody's in the line, you deal with that person. So I had these people in line that I was dealing with. And so I didn't pick that call. Yet, at that time, the cyst had already come out, and it got stuck in the throat and in the sinus. It got stuck there. So she didn't know what to do with it. And she kept calling me. Oh, Jim, what do I do? And I couldn't pick that call. I said, no, I know the patient is now okay. Because I knew that thing had already disintegrated and came out, the brain tumor. And so I said, no, let me just work on this and then I'll call her later. Yet at that time, that cyst had got stuck in the sinus and the throat, so she could not breathe. And it stayed like that, and then finally, I saw messages coming, dang, 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 and I said, what could be this that Mama Lillian is sending me so many things? So when I stopped this and I went to look, she sent me photos of what had happened, and she told me, she's gone. I said, gone, what is this? So when I called her, she said, but I've been calling you so many times so that you tell me what to do, because the cyst had gotten stuck in there. That's what killed the woman. But otherwise, the tumor itself had disintegrated. It was the same thing that had parasites in there, and she did just what I've mentioned. Protocol. If you do the protocol, that protocol has helped so many people in many things.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. You had a question, that's all. The next one. Thank you, sir. And then I believe it will be the last, maybe.
There was one hand.
Thank you so much. Now, let me ask, what should the person have done? No, you were talking about the tumor. Yes, but you didn't. Manual removal.
Yes. Manual removal, because the cyst.
Can you explain, because in scientific, when you say the cyst, it's something different picture. Are you talking about the worms were coming out of the mouth? Or when you cyst, it is something different. You have to.
A cyst is the house. Yeah, when I say assist is a house, a shield, a bunker. So the worms form a cyst. They build a cyst where they stay in. Fungus also usually build a cyst. The jiggers, they build a cyst. So a cyst is just a house, and it's usually a very strong shield. It's like plastic. It's plasticish. It doesn't break easily. So everything inside may drain, and then it plucks out to come out. It usually comes out as a cough. You can cough it, or it can go through into your anal removal. So it depends on how it's coming out. Sometimes it may even come out through the nose, and you may blow it out, depending on how big it is and depending on which channel it's passed. So the worms will come out as worms. Fungus will come out as fungus. Or jiggers will come out as jiggers. But the cyst comes out later because it's a plaque.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, because of time, we are going to stop here. There are other more presentations, good presentations. So if we...
She can come to me later.
Yes. So Elder is around. In case of more questions, during the breaks, we can approach them and we have the discussions. Just one baseline, on addition to other things that have been told us, in case you suspect cancer and you want to do some herbs that you can add on their treatments, one of them is red clover, burdock, golden seal. I'm saying, in case you have cancer, a cancer case, regardless, he has said they are specific. So there are modifications you make depending on what you have, on top of other things that have been spoken of here. If you are going to add some herbs, there is a general one which you can use that you add on other things. So the general one is, you have red clover, you have burdock, red clover. Then you have burdock. Yes, you have burdock. Then you have golden seal. Then you have yellow dock. By that one you use it in little amounts. Yellow dock. So for it you just add it. You just use it for 7 days, give it a break, then again 7 days, give it a break. It is not continuous. Then the other one is motherwort. So those ones can form a template. There are others, but the others, they keep differing in whatever system you are using. Whether it is prostate, breast, those keep changing. But that one, you can use it as a template to add on these other things. And echinacea is important to help stimulate your immune system as you are doing. So those are just a few. But I believe through the presentation, we have had a number of things. We have had the massage, the hydrotherapy. We have had the nutrition. We have had some of the herbs. We have had a number of them here. When you have a cancer patient, they have to exercise. It is a must. If they cannot walk, at least take them out. The more they stay in one place, it is not nice for them. Yeah. Okay, we praise God for the presentation about cancer. I believe during the lunch break and all that, engagements will continue. You get more clarifications, you get more questions answered, so that we can all benefit and go and help the world. So we are going to stand up and then we pray to end our presentation. Okay, let us pray. Father in heaven, we thank you so much for the gift of life. We thank you so much for all that you have done for us. We thank you for the continued teaching that you give us. In your word, you tell us that your people are dying because of ignorance, and they also don't want to seek knowledge. But when you have put opportunities for us like this, that we may come and seek knowledge, we pray, may you bless whatever is happening. All the people that have been represented here, Lord, may these be your ambassadors that will teach others, help others, that your work may proliferate in this whole world. Be with us even in the few programs that are remaining for the day. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. We praise God. And so what we are going to do now is a hydration break. And after the hydration break, we shall come for the last presentation. So I'm giving us 7 minutes for the hydration break. You can get the sunshine a bit and then come back. Our last presentation is what we are going for. It won't be very long. And from there, we shall go for the lunch break. So 7 minutes, we hydrate, we get sunshine, say hello to each other, come back for our last presentation for the day. Thank you.
Africa and outside the continent for a week packed with powerful messages and lectures about newest interventions in medical missionary. Habari Africa. Special greetings from the Medical Missionary Movement Africa chapter. Are you in Kenya, Zambia, South Africa, Ethiopia, Sudan, Tanzania? Uganda is the place to be come 7th to 14th of October 2025. Ask me why? This year, we are hosting the annual Medical Missionary Convention, an event that brings together hundreds of medical missionaries from all over Africa and outside the continent for a week packed with powerful messages and lectures about newest interventions in medical missionary lines. That is the spiritual part, hydrotherapy, talk of massages and physiotherapy, talk of herbal formulations, and everything that you need to know about how to reach your neighbor and your friend and yourself. Here we get to learn together and share testimonies of people who have both experienced in their lives and in the lives of others God's special working through natural remedies. You ask me where? We shall be right here where I'm standing in Vizca Resort, Wakiso, just a few kilometers from the capital city, Kampala. A delightful, calm place away from the noise. And the theme is from Isaiah chapter 40, verse 1. Comfort ye my people. And here together, we shall learn how to experience the comfort of the Lord and extend it to our friends and the neighbors. Are you a gospel minister, a pastor, an elder, a deacon? Are you a health professional, a doctor, a nurse, or an allied professional? Are you a layman, but with a special interest in reaching people through God's healing methods of medical missionary work? Come, this is an opportunity like no other. For more information, you may scan this QR code right here or WhatsApp this phone number for aid on how to register and be ready for the Medical Missionary Convention 2025. May the Lord bless you. I will be there. See you there.